And so, it's officially time for the next episode of Kirby Month. Okay, need to angle things a little better. There we go. So, today, we're talking about Super Kirby Clash, released on September 4th, 2019 for the Nintendo Switch. It's basically a spin-off of the Team Kirby Clash series, which is, well, a game. I never played Team Kirby Clash Deluxe, but I did play Team Kirby Clash because it wasn't Robopod. And today, I'm going to be talking about it. And overall, what are my thoughts on Forgotten Land, on this game? So, I felt it's best to start with the positives, then move to the negatives, and then talk about how this game handles modern gaming tropes, and then finally give my final thoughts. So let's have some fun, shall we? And of course, we're starting off with the positives. Beginning with the good roll balancing. This game decides to have 3 different roles you can play as: Hammerlord, Sword Hero, Beam Mage, and Dr. Healmore. And I think all 3 of them have their own reasons for being good. Particularly, I'm more of a Sword Hero one because he's just a good all-around character. That basically is just Hammerlord is the slowest of the bunch to the point where he's almost unplayable, but it balances out in him dealing intense damage compared to other characters. Dr. Healmore does blatantly awful damage, but he's more of a support role, made to heal your team, and actually revives your team much faster. And finally, Beam Mage, who does so damage, but makes up for it in his most powerful attack being used enough to slow down time. It's actually really good. Next is the great music. As you can hopefully hear the music, my phone does not have very good balancing with audio. This game has some solid music. Particularly one of my favorite songs. I mean, it doesn't have much original music though, which is not very good. But many of the returning songs are very good. In fact, they even brought back my favorite song from Return to Dreamland that doesn't get enough attention: Super Copy Boss 3. Of course, King D-Mind is amazing. The variant of Galactonite used here is good too. It's got a solid soundtrack, and its main original theme is solid. I quite like this game's music. And it also has some very satisfying achievements. If you do a certain thing in battle, from something as easy as clearing the battle to getting a platinum medal, which requires a very fast time, you get some gem apples, which you can use to buy gear. It's actually quite fun to get these challenges. Sure, while the game doling out gem apples isn't the greatest, and we're going to get to that, I think it's very good that these challenges really feel like you earned them when you finish them, considering that they can be difficult. It's quite satisfying. And now, we unfortunately get to the negatives of the game. Because yeah, there are things it doesn't do well. We'll begin this with, oh goody. Let's have some fun talking about the microtransactions. We're going to talk about them on a more broader scale later in this review, but this game's microtransactions are overpowered. Like, blatantly so. Oh, and he's delivering Super Copy Boss 3. For example, the most expensive pack, which costs $40, goes for a 5,000 gem apples pack, and upgrades the tree to the point where you get 2,000 gem apples each time that they harvest, which I'm not sure whether it's 12 or 24 hours. But either way, if you want to know just how OP that is, the late game weapons, like the latest late game weapons, don't even reach 300 gem apples. That is ridiculous. Honestly, I don't mind, because it does give a massive bonus to the players who are doing this. And to be honest, it doesn't have much pay to win to it, which I'm happy with. But overall, I'm still relatively mixed on why these are absolutely broken. I'm just glad it's not a massively online game. And speaking of the online isn't very good. And I mean not very good. It's not because the online is bad. It's actually... What am I saying? It's not because the online is just fundamentally badly made or anything. I like the idea. You can even get extra experience for playing in online matches. The problem is the net coding. This game has some serious lag if you're playing online. To the point where it almost feels like you're playing Mario Maker 2. Sometimes it runs really well, sometimes you're playing Mario Maker 2. That's a great way to describe it. I'm just glad HAL learned from their lesson and made the net coding in Fighters 2 fantastic. And it's especially bad, as I said, because you get extra experience and it takes less vigor to do online matches. And now let's get to the biggest problem in the game, which is, ironically enough, the vigor system. The vigor system is absolutely terrible. Basically, you need a certain amount of vigor to do a quest. And once you deal with that quest, and once you finish that quest and your vigor is used up, you can use it to start another quest. And you can gain it back in two ways. Spending a couple gem apples, and I do mean actually a couple, like 2. Which isn't a bad thing. The only problem with it is that it's much more better to spend on weapons. So what's your other easier option? Go play another game and wait. It can go to ridiculous time limits, because at the start, it takes 5 minutes to basically get a single piece of vigor back. 5 minutes. And if you look at my vigor count, that is insanely long. Honestly, it's nuts. It takes way too long. There is a way to speed it up, so that requires spending gem apples. It's just this vicious cycle. Look at this vigor. Imagine trying to get one piece back for 5 minutes. Seriously, whoever thought of that should have been fired. And it honestly makes me feel like I'm not playing a really good Kirby game, but I'm playing a really bad mobile game. Overall, I do not like the vigor system at all. But now let's talk about how it deals with modern gaming tropes that some don't like. Yearly releases and microtransactions. I hate these tropes as much as the next guy, but I feel like it's interesting as a hopefully future game developer to talk about these and sort of show how I stand on these issues. Yearly releases are a very bad idea. You can clearly see how it's working for series like Call of Duty and Battlefield. Though I don't know if Battlefield is yearly releases, I don't play Battlefield or Call of Duty either. But you can clearly see how well it's working for those series, as the games slowly grow more stale and poorly made. Overall, Kirby did an interesting idea with it, and I think that is the way you should do this trope properly. And it's very simple. Just make most of the games smaller, simpler side games, like Super Kirby Clash, Kirby Fighters 2, or DDD's Drum Dash Deluxe. Just make them smaller, simpler games. I think that's how you should do it, because not only does it not take as much resources, but it can keep your fans ready and having fun until your game releases. That's what HAL was doing with Kirby up until Forgotten Land released recently, and it seemed to work. The community was happy and was constantly talking about new games. And I like that. And now, we have to talk about the big, fat elephant in the room, microtransactions. I do not like microtransactions. Overall, though, I want to talk about my opinions on microtransactions. I think my thoughts on microtransactions depend on two things. One, are the microtransactions good or overpowered? Or bad? And two, what is the price of the game? I usually see microtransactions not as a way to squeeze extra money out of a game, but as an alternative way of a game making sales. So basically, I'm fine with a game having microtransactions if it's cheap, and that's the main way it wants to make money. That's one of the main reasons I give Mario Kart Tour a pass. But if they're overpowered, I can also have a problem with it, as it can create an extensively pay-to-win environment. So I think this game does microtransactions alright. They're overpowered, but at least they don't cause a pay-to-win environment. So now let's cap it off with my final thoughts on this game. It is pretty good, but it blatantly has flaws preventing me from thinking it's an amazing game. I still think if you want a simple, free game, and you can't play Tetris 99 because of Nintendo Switch Online, then this is a good free game to check out. And if you haven't played Tetris 99 and you do have Nintendo Switch Online, go play Tetris 99! I know this might seem incredibly unnecessary, but Tetris 99 is amazing. So overall, this is a good Kirby game. But it does have problems. So yeah, that's your thoughts on this game. It's pretty good. See you next time we talk about Diet Super Smash Brothers. Kirby Fighters 2. I'll see you then. This is Lapidot, signing out.